Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 658. And in this episode, we're talking about love. To love yourself, to be able to reconnect with who you are, and to truly just fall in love with yourself. And by fall in love, here's what I really mean, by the way. Let's get straight to it today. Loving yourself, we think should be natural and normal. It should be there all the time. And we tend to think if we don't love ourselves, therefore something must be wrong. That we're broken, we're unfixable, or we're not even lovable. But here's what I gotta tell you. In my opinion, love is learning to love yourself. It's a part of a journey. Because as we come into this world, we don't really know what love is. And then we start to see the world around us, and we start to make these ideas and thoughts of what we think love is based on the people that we model. Now imagine if we had models of love where that love had attachments to it. Maybe it meant doing things or commitments or needs, and I'm talking about some of these negative things where we think, oh, love must mean I have to do X, Y, Z, or love means being hurt. Love means fighting, because we could be modeling lots of different relationships growing up. And then we have this absolute contrasting experience where we watch the movies about love. And we think, well, that's the dream. That's what I want. But of course, life is not always like the movies. Yes, in movies there is a contrast experience. There's the events. There's the hero's journey of people going through having it, losing it, getting it back, and finding something bigger. That is the hero's journey after all. But life is different. So if we're truly wanting to learn how to love, because that's what it is, we have to recognize that we may have to undo certain things. We've got to recognize what is our evidence for love. As you've gone through life and you've experienced many different things, observed many different forms of love, from the conditional to the unconditional, with yourself or others, or observing it from other people, we want to make sure that we understand what the truth is. That maybe some of the criterias for love are distorted. Maybe we learned love that didn't serve us in the right way. And by that, I mean the strategy of love, or what we know what love is, whether it be with ourselves or other people. So remember, number one, I believe you have to learn to love yourself. But what gets in the way of that? Well, of course, if we've been modeling people and we may be coming from a place of, I don't love myself, I'm not worthy of love. Have you ever had that belief system before? That I'm not worthy, that I'm not enough, that I'm not capable, that I'm not deserving, I am not of value. Well, if you have those belief systems about yourself, it is very, very hard to love yourself, because we don't feel worthy of love. We don't feel enough to receive love. Now, if we're seeking external love because we don't feel worthy within ourselves, we don't love ourselves, that is where problems begin to occur, because we are looking for the external validation of our value. Now, not to say getting external validation is wrong, because do you know what? If you're listening to this on the podcast app, this is being broadcasted live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all those kind of things. And someone said before the show about how they loved the app and they gave feedback and what it meant to them. Now, that external validation for me filled up my heart. That's why I do what I do. I want to be able to help. That's why we've done 658 free episodes, which is a ton of hours. So I love that, and I love receiving that feedback. The problem would be, though, if I could only hold love for myself, or partly, because it's never going to be truly, by external validation alone, we're never going to really get there. So ask yourself, are you seeking external validation to know who you are? Ask yourself that question. Because if we're only seeking external validation, only seeking it, we're always going to be doomed for failure. Because then we're going to attach conditions on that relationship or expectations which will never truly support us in who we are and where we're heading. Now, the other part of this is that if you only have external validations, which is not true validation, because the ideal way would be, look, I love myself, and then feedback that I get from people then just builds upon that. Like it's a layer on top. It's an extra form of evidence I know why I am worthy. I know I am love. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we want from the core. But if we have those limiting beliefs of I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not deserving to be loved, we're saying that we aren't love. Now, although on the one hand I say, look, all love in yourself is learning how to love yourself, to be gentle on yourself, to appreciate your qualities, to appreciate that you being in this world makes the world unique. You being in this world makes the world different. It makes the universe different. You not being in this world, to me, there's this form of emptiness. So you bring something to the table. You bring the uniqueness by being you. And that to me is something to love. I honestly believe that. You being in this world makes the world so uniquely different. Your essence, the people that you interact with, those ripple effects you will never know the importance of. Maybe it's something that you said, something that you did, and you didn't think anything about it, but it meant something for someone else. It reminds me of a story. We're going slightly off topic. My dad tells me this story, and he does it on our trainings and things like that. And it's about the person who is running down on the beach, jogging away, and there's all these starfishes kind of beached on the beach. And there's an old man like just putting one starfish back, one at a time. But there's so many of them. Like the jogger runs by and goes, "Look, you're not making a real difference. Like, why are you even doing this? There's so many out there. You can't save them all." And then the guy just shrugs his shoulders, and then the jogger jogs on. Then, as the old guy just puts another starfish back into the water, back into the ocean, just repeats and says, even outside, verbally, says, "Well, it meant something to you." And then the other one, and it meant something to you. You see, you don't know the differences that you are making consciously or unconsciously by being a part of this world. So allow this to be our wake-up call. Allow us to notice that, look, even if you don't know it yet, even if you don't believe in it yet, you are worthy of so much, that you are deserving of so much greatness. And sometimes it's less, as I said, it's about learning how to love, but sometimes I think it's about rediscovering or discovering for the first time. You see, within you, I believe peace is always there. I think beneath the surface, this is my philosophical philosophy, even was what I was looking for. My philosophy is that we are love. To the deepest part of who we are, that we are love. And we need to enlighten the illusionary darkness, and that darkness is something that we have to face. Like, to see the light, you got to be in the darkness at times, and that darkness can lead us through to the other side. So realize that, look, if we're not loving ourselves right now, if we're not feeling truly content with who we are or what we've achieved to date, be gentle. Recognize it is a journey of discovering your qualities. It's a journey of recognizing your worth in this world, because you do mean something. You may not know it, but other people probably feel the same way. But you mean something, that you have this immense value, this immense energy to bring, and you haven't even brought it all out yet. There's so much more to discover. There's so much more that you can begin to ignite within you as you begin to wake up to the fact that, look, this is a journey of discovering your greatness. Realize that contrasting experience, that the times where we've modeled the love and had those negative attachments and meanings to, it's time to reprogram that. You see, if you're not loving yourself, then the chances are, if we're feeling unworthy or not deserving or not capable, we will start to have that negative emotion within us, whether that be anger, whether that be self-hatred, whether it be sadness, whether it be guilt, grief, fill in the blank, any emotion. But holding that emotion for yourself is actually causing a greater divide between you and your unconscious mind. You see, your unconscious mind has maybe been programmed to feel not worthy. Maybe someone said something, someone did something, maybe as many events. But somewhere along the line, your unconscious mind created this belief system that we can't love ourselves or we're not worthy of it. Well, think about that. When did that occur? How long ago was it? Was it last week? A year ago? Probably. It was when we were very, very young. Very, very young. So if you just try to articulate what that means, you did not have the necessary resources or insights to choose something different because you were too young to do so. And especially if we're in a heightened state of stress or conflict, it is always hard to make good decisions at the best of times, let alone about our identity. So when we're starting to have this lack of value, and of course it's hard to shift until we make the change unconsciously. But do you know how to start that journey? It is meeting the issue where it lives, which is, in my opinion, the unconscious mind. But if we're feeling these emotions, if we're feeling the fear, we're feeling the self-hatred, we're feeling the anger about ourselves, we're not where we want to be, or we're not having the relationship, or we're not feeling what we really want to feel. When it comes to like the contentment, all of those things, you have to wake up and be gentle. You've got to take the time out to be gentle to yourself and therefore your unconscious mind. You see, if your unconscious mind has gone through the exact same thing that you've gone through, which it has, and it came to these conclusions about yourself, which it has, and therefore then you consciously feel that emotion, how does your unconscious mind feel? Think about the words that you say to yourself. Think about the feelings that you radiate about yourself when we're coming from a place of not being worthy of love. Now, if you were to look through the eyes of your unconscious mind, how would it feel? Will it feel cared for? Will it feel love from you? Now, sometimes yes, but sometimes no. But if there's more no, then we've got to change that feeling. You've got to dedicate yourself. I'm going to be so supportive to my unconscious mind, so encouraging. I heard a sentence years and years ago, and it was about having external conflict with someone. And I really loved it, and it was like, and I've done this many times in my life, and it can be from the waiter or the waitress who is not in a good mood. It could be literally anyone. And I heard this sentence, which was to pen them in with love. So every time I be in these situations, I will do my greatest energetic projection, words of affirmation, service, and all those things to that person until they could only feel that energy of love, or that wonderful energy of support or care or freedom, whatever fit the agenda or the environment, the situation. So in the same time, that sentence, look, if you've got this anger towards someone, or they're like energetically negative, pen them in with love. So they cannot escape that love. Radiate that love. But of course, that's for the external. That's for someone else. That's what the example was. But you've got to pen yourself with love. Your unconscious mind has to be radiated with that love. So ask yourself, what can you do today to be that bit more gentle? What can you do? Maybe it's taking yourself out to dinner by yourself and just connecting. Maybe it's going for that walk. Maybe it's about writing down what you're grateful for about yourself. Because look, there's levels of gratitude for the things we have, The next level for me is because that's the gateway to then this another level, which is great gratitude for who you are. And then the third level, a different episode, is grateful for the things that are coming your way. But you've got to get into the gratitude. No matter how hard it is, you've got to fight for yourself. You've got to fight for that gratitude. You've got to be disciplined in the gratitude. You've got to catch yourself when you say, why am I so stupid? You ask, do you know what? How can I be more loving? What did I do good in this situation? The other thing you can do, we said, look through the eyes of your unconscious mind and see how it feels. And then we can recognize we need that love, but maybe look through the eyes of someone who loves you. And if you don't have someone who loves you, maybe just likes you. As you look through their eyes, and it could be a person, it could be a pet. Look through their eyes. How do they see you and your qualities? How do they feel when they think of you? Because that's more to the truth. Because they're in your experience by choice. They're wanting to be around you, and they have that loving thought or kindness towards you. So we can go at multiple angles here. We can look through the eyes of the unconscious mind. We can look through the eyes of those who love us. We can be more gentle. We can be more grateful by doing the gratitude list of our qualities. What have we done well? And then we want to bask in those. And that's not ego. That's not just being overly confident. This is you. This is your life. Whoever says, look, don't be so overconfident just because you love yourself, they're wrong. You should be loving yourself. It may not be like crazy easy to do right now, but you should be falling in love with yourself every single day. Yeah, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say the wrong thing. You're gonna trip up, but that's part of life. That is the growth. That's the learning that we go through. That's building character. That is building a different experience from who you are to who you're about to come tomorrow. So as you start to pay attention to how you process and think and feel about yourself, at the same time, we've got to even it up. What are you going to do to love yourself? It starts with you. As I said, we seek out external validation for love most of the time, especially if we're coming from a place of I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. But it's got to come from you. If you want true validation, you have to recognize those qualities, and there's always so many. Because I think the nature of you is love. It's just been buried for a long time. We've been hypnotized by the external past situations. We were told things, or we went through and we decided about ourselves. But you know what? That's just experience. The thing that I wrote once in my book, Be Your Potential, and I love the quote. I mean, I wrote it, so you'd think I would like it or love it. But it's to enlighten the illusionary darkness, for there is only love. And then I am the everlasting moment of oneness, for I am love. That's what we got to remember. That all there is that true love for self. And maybe it's going to take a while. It's going to be a journey. Yeah, we're going to beat ourselves up. We're going to say the things we dislike, but catch yourself when you say it. Don't let it go unconscious. Don't let it go on autopilot. Look for the good and great things about yourself. Take time out to have those words of affirmation. And of course, you got to work on that limiting belief, that identity conflict, because we know, look, if I have that identity conflict of I am not worthy of love or I am not enough, of course, our capacity in what we do and how we shop is going to be dramatically decreased. And therefore, our behavior is very, very limited. And therefore, when we go into the environment, we don't get the results we want. And that results feeds back that limiting belief. So absolutely work on that belief system. But remember, that belief system can and will change if you put the work into it. It's not fixed. It's not in stone. Your identity is just something that you learned. And the exact same way of learning to love yourself is to learn to dismantle those belief systems. and to also give yourself that opportunity to take responsibility for it. Look, let's not be the victim anymore. Let's not be a victim of our past. Yes, we have been a victim maybe. People have done and said many mean things, but if we remain the victim to our circumstance, we remain the victim to our past, then you're not helping yourself. You're actually maybe just reinforcing those other silly people who inflicted that pain. I say we rise up together. I say you become the example to those people that you are more than that. That you are ready to receive more, because you are deserving of more, because you are love at the truest part of you, the smallest part to the biggest part. We've just got to uncover it. We've got to look for it. Don't look for what is wrong with you. Maybe let's look for what is right, what is good, what is great. That comes from within. You don't get that from anyone else. And even if you say, look, no one likes or loves me, and you may not even believe me, but I promise that it's true. Where every time I do these videos or audios, I'm not just like thinking of speaking to the wall or the camera or any of those things. I really feel like I'm wanting to speak with you personally. Like I want to be in the room with you and go, look, you are bloody well great. Like you are worthy. You are deserving. You are greatness. I don't care what you've been through, what's happened to you. I want you to recognize your love for self. I want you to begin to fall in love with yourself for the small things, the big things, the little things. Change the tide from focusing what is wrong to what is good and what is right. Enlighten the illusionary darkness, because it is illusionary. You are so much more. One of the sentences I love, whatever you think you are, you're always more. It means you're never going to truly discover your truest greatest, because there's always going to be another level. You will never realize how special you are, because there's always so many more levels to it. And that's good. That means we're always growing. That means that we're always looking for how else we can grow, how else we can show up for other people, how we can make an impact in the world. But if you're wanting to make an impact in any endeavor, health, relationship, career, business, everything that you do, you've got to be the one who instigates that. It doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from even experience. In other words, the things that happen to us. It's about waking up to what is true. Even if you don't believe it, you do it because it's right. You do it because you're ready to receive. You're ready to look for the contrasting experience of love. For when you do, and here's a great benefit of this. We said about, look, external validation is not the true way of love. Is it good and great? Yes, it's pretty good. But if we don't have it within ourselves, but imagine now if you were to have it in yourself 24/7. Now, of course, sometimes, like I said, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things which are silly. You do things which are silly. You're human, so be gentle there as well. That when you start to have that validation, when you feel validated for who you are, and you do have that love, like the truest sense of love, that you know there's something more to you, then when you receive that love, not only are you shining at a whole different level, not only are you attracting people to the exact same evaluations, because your perception of self becomes your evaluator of life, especially to your unconscious mind. So if you're coming from a place of, do you know what? I am worthy. I am deserving. I am love. It is. It just is. Sometimes that's what it is. It just is. Not even needing any other words there. You just are. You're love. For when you get to that place of love and beingness and wholeness, you're going to start to then attract people of a like mind, because that is now your evaluation. That becomes your benchmark. That is the value. And therefore people seek that out. Therefore you radiate it. Therefore more people will begin to validate that, because you are now being the authentic true self. You don't have to pretend to be anyone else. So I'm sure that happens sometimes, and that is why we feel like an imposter. We're pretending to be someone else. But when you go and become the true you, when you begin to look within yourself and put the time in to discover that love, you can begin to then attract people of the same value, the same love. That is what I believe. That's my personal truth, in other words. I want you to recognize that love within you. Now, let's get back to some of the how. You've got to wake up and catch yourself when things happen, because it's been happening way too long unconsciously. It's just been automatic. I was talking about this with my group, my private group, and we're talking about, like, look, we're playing like this record over and over and over again of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. It's like an album that we're playing, and each track is you're not good enough, the next track is I'm not worthy. Like, it's some album we just play over and over again. Well, only you can stop that. You've got to first wake up and go, I'm going to notice my thoughts today. I'm going to notice what I'm thinking. Because we don't usually do that. We just focus on what the external world. But focus on what you're saying to yourself. Because your unconscious mind is eavesdropping on every word that you say about yourself, even about other people, what you're feeling. So it's going to be receiving that. But once you start to catch yourself in that belief, in that word of negative affirmation, you can start to interrupt it. It's like taking that record off the player and just scratching that record, so it will never play that song of I'm not good enough again. So interrupt it. Be gentle on yourself. Ask yourself, what are you doing for yourself today? And it can be small, it can be big. But once you start to treat yourself a little bit more, when you start to do things for what you want to do, you are telling your unconscious mind that actually I am worthy of this gift of time, or this gift of something physical. I am worthy of going out to dinner by myself and just enjoying it. I'm going to treat myself to go for a nice long walk in the nature. I'm just going to spend time with me for a while. I'm going to get to learn who I am. I'm going to get to connect with who I am. I'm going to start to think about this in a way that is just as a journey. Like when we meet someone for the first time, what do? Well, we get to know them. Well, now it's time to get to know who you are in your place in this world, where you can start to reflect on who you really are. Because when you know who you are, then you're going to attract those people too. You're going to realize that you are worthy of that goal and that dream. Like I said, the deepest part of us, I believe we're love. And I don't mind if you don't believe it, that's fine. But maybe if we use it as a convenient assumption, even if you don't believe it right now, just believe it as a convenient assumption which will help you in life. Well, make that your mission. Make it your mission to look for that love, to expand upon it, to begin to learn that experience. Remember the past program, all the people said you weren't enough or not good enough, the times we were hurt or abused or whatever situation, those were events which happened to us. That is not who you are. It may have had an effect on you. It may have created this identity of I am not enough or I am not worthy of love, but that's not who you are. There's a deeper part of you that is true. Beneath all of that noise, start to connect with who you are. Be gentle. Start to write down that gratitude. Look through the eyes of your unconscious mind. Does it feel loved? Does it feel supported? Because if you're wanting love and feeling supported, yet we're starting to be negative toward ourselves, then we're just being the problem. We're doing the thing we dislike the most when it happens to us, because we're doing it to ourselves unconsciously. So now it's time to change that. And remember, we've said this before, that sometimes we wouldn't treat our best friend the way that we treat ourselves. So maybe look through the eyes of your best friend and see their qualities that they see within you. What do they see? It takes time to do all this, but it's going to give you the freedom. You will get to that place. I promise you that. You will get to that place of knowing who you are and what that truth is, the essence of you. You might not believe it right now, but I believe it. That's my beliefs. So, that's what we have to do. Go on that journey of discovery. Be a little bit more gentle today. Be a little bit more kinder. Do the things for yourself. Do the good things for other people, because that adds to it. But remember, don't seek external validation alone. Get the internal validation. Really go deep on that. Really take the time out. Here's the other thing I do with my program. And I mention it just so you can start to get this in your system. Just do exactly what I'm saying, right? You don't have to, but here's what I would do. Set up a time. Set up a day. It could be every day, but at least once per week. So let's just say if it was every day, it'd be like maybe 5-10 minutes. But at least once a week for maybe like half hour. If you just did it once, half hour. Or one whole hour of self-development where you go, this is my time I get to love myself. This is my journey of discovery. This is where I do the gratitude. This is where I look through the eyes of the other people who love me. This is where I do the work. This is where I do a hypnosis track. This is where I do a process. This is where I do a module. This is where I do take myself out to dinner. Like, put adequate time into loving yourself. Make that conscious effort to date yourself almost. To really give yourself the space and the time to look for the true nature of you. And then you may just discover that you are love. That's my plan for you. Now, of course, if you need help with letting go of the beliefs of I am not worthy and good enough, and we experience the imposter syndrome, and you're a professional, you're ready to take things to a whole new level in your career or your business, then you may want to go ahead and book a call with us at josephclough.info/talk. Now you book up a call, you fill out an application form. Now, of course, this is only to apply. It's not a free program. There is an investment attached to it. Like, it's fully customized to your needs. So you've got to be invested, but on the call, we'll get clear on what you want to let go of, where you want to be, what's getting in the way unconsciously, and then make them, like, see if you're a good fit to make the steps a reality. But you've got to be invested. Like, it's fully customized. Like, you get hypnosis at the moment, hypnosis tracks created by me with your name on it, with all your unconscious needs, let alone the group, the one-to-one, like, it's crazy. That's josephclough.info/talk. But with that, I wanted to leave something with you. And now this is obviously going to be the audio version on the app. But for everyone who watches the YouTube replay, the YouTube replay, the Twitch, the Facebook replay, this is a little audio track that I'd like you to have that is going to really hopefully help you. And the video was kind of put together by Kevin Michael Reed, fantastic person who supports for live show, but also in his own right, theater, like crazy cool, direct, like amazing person. And he put together these little clips. So I'm going to end this podcast episode, and I'll speak to everyone else after this. But let's get to a nice little video or audio if you're listening on the podcast, all about love.
Now, to me, love is the deepest form of what we are. I believe we are interconnected. We are just energy. And we are love. The more love you have in your life, the more you see of life. Give yourself that internal love, and that love will be projected externally. Love changes who we are. When we have love for ourselves, we have self-worth. We're good enough. For you are just love. My real belief about the world and reality is that we come from a place of love. And it's a matter of getting reconnected to that love. For you are love. Just put your attention to that love. To me, love is the most powerful thing. And by love, I mean that deep part of you. The part of you which never changes. The part of you which never changes, that core part of you. Of pure energy and love. For you are love. You are powerful. You are love. And you are powerful. You see, to me, when we become awakened to who we really are, which is love, and we see the love in others, and we see the love in the world, that's where happiness begins. That is our potential for being at peace with yourself, for being at peace with the world. For you are love, you are joy. You're meant to realize how beautiful and wonderful you are.
So I hope you enjoyed that. And with that, my friends, we will end this podcast episode. So many thanks and goodbye.